If you feel behind lately, not because you're doing nothing, but because you're doing everything, this just might help you. I don't think most of us are lazy. I think we're scattered. And there's a difference. Lazy avoids responsibility. Scattered tries to carry too much at once. And when everything feels urgent, your mind never settles long enough to decide what actually matters. So you wake up already behind. You check your phone, you respond, you react, you scroll. You handle something small, and then you handle something else small. And by the end of the day, you're exhausted. But you can't point to what actually moved forward. Now, that's not laziness, that's fragmentation. And fragmentation creates shame because you start telling yourself, I should be further than this. I should be more disciplined. I should have this figured out by now. But here's the harder truth. If you never slow down long enough to choose what matters, you're going to live in reaction mode forever. And reaction mode feels productive, but it rarely builds anything that's lasting. Now, there's the line in Proverbs 29:18 where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Vision isn't hype, it's clarity. If you don't know what the day is for, you will serve whatever screams the loudest. And the loudest voice right now is not wisdom, it's urgency. Here's what I've had to learn. When I feel scattered, it usually means I've stopped choosing. I'm letting circumstances choose for me. And that always leads to exhaustion, not because I'm weak, but because I'm unanchored. So instead of trying to do more, try this. Before tomorrow starts, decide one thing that actually matters. One thing, not five, not 10, just one. If everything goes sideways, but that one thing moves forward, the day wasn't wasted. Scattered people measure progress by activity, and grounded people measure progress by direction. And that shift alone can calm your nervous system. So you don't need to fix your whole life this week. You need to stop living like every notification is a command. There's another verse I come back to often, and that's First Corinthians 14:33. For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace. Peace isn't the absence of responsibility, it's ordered responsibility. And if your life feels chaotic right now, it may not mean that you lack discipline, it may mean you lack direction. And direction doesn't come from scrolling or reacting or consuming more information. It comes from sitting still long enough to ask, what actually matters today? Not in theory, but today. Now, you're not lazy, you're overloaded. And overloaded, unchecked, turns into shame. But shame is a turbo motivator. It burns hot, then burns you out. Clarity is quieter, but it lasts. So here's the practice this week. Before you sleep, write down one thing that matters tomorrow. When you wake up, do that before you drift. You don't need intensity, you need alignment. We'll build from there.